Hello, warriors. Welcome to the U Movement. A long time ago, I promised you that I would try my very best to be real and authentic in the now, in regards to my own awakening, to show you what awakenings were really like. I've been recording my awakening for the last 3 years, before I even knew I was awakening. And I wanted to be as accurate as possible because, there's a lot of videos out there with people 7 years later going, "Hi, how are you? Awakenings are beautiful. I had an awakening and look at me now. I'm amazing." And then there's me. That's crazy and wants to show up in authenticity. And this is what awakenings look like. This is one of the things that awakenings look like. It looks like lying in fetal position, completely and utterly resigned and surrendered and exhausted, and I give up. I posted a video yesterday talking about the tough energies that I've been facing, which is the last few weeks have just been like being battered. I would compare it to like being a rug. In the old days when they had rugs and they'd have those long rug beaters. And they'd take the rugs outside and they'd beat the living shit out of the rug. And all the dust and stuff would come out of it. Yeah, I'm the rug in this scenario. And God, the universe, spirit, is holding that rug beater and has been just getting me clean. Getting me clean. Purification. Beat. Anything that's not in alignment's got to go. Any beliefs. This whole awakening process has been one thing after another thing. My list is extensive on my wall. So here, I'm going to be like, this is pulling back the curtain, okay? This is pulling back the curtain. It's about 10:30 in the morning. I haven't been able to get up. My hair looks a little bit messy. We're going to just take a small little tour, okay? So here we are in my room. Oh, look at all the fucking reminders I need to have to remind me that I'm safe here now and I need to breathe. I got some Ho'oponopono going on here. I got my hammock. This is where I come to cry with some more signs in the background. That's my son over there. We're going to scooch through over here. This is where, this is my cave. This is where I live. Is in my room. And then I have my studio space over here. So yes, this is my sanctuary. This is where I have back in the old days, if this was like 300 years ago, whatever, I would be in a church somewhere and it put into isolation, hermiting, and the community would understand what I was going through. They'd be, and go even further back into like shamanistic times. I would be honored. I would be honored by my community for lying in fetal position, crying my eyes out, because the community would know and respect that I was in a phase of clearing not only my traumas, but the traumas of the community, the collective, So being, this is like what a shaman's initiation is. Not everybody's awakening is easygoing. Mine has been insane. I have a list over here. I'm going to go back to my wall for a minute. Just, I'm going to turn you around. Look, okay? So this is my list. This is everything that I've had to endure on the physical. This is everything I've had to get through on the emotional. This is everything on the 3D world that has collapsed in the last 3 years, 5 years for me. And this is everything that I've endured on the spiritual, okay? I have that there as a reminder for me that, one, I'm not going crazy. I'm awakening. Because I sometimes need that reminder myself, because especially while I'm in the throes of ego death, I'm like, what the fuck is happening to me? Like, what is happening? And luckily, I do have two friends that will remind me, you've been through this before, you'll get through this again. And I'm like, really? Really? Is that what's happening? What is happening? Because when the energy's in your head, and I know some other people are going, when the Kundalini energy is in your head, it's very confusing, and it's like being in what I call child mind, in this state of timelessness. And it's not a good place to be. So it's not. The psychology camp would describe that as emotional flashbacks or trauma release. The spiritual camp would describe that as third eye clearing. So there's a lot of crossover just in different camps that are describing the same thing. Okay. And so today I'm in, I guess, kind of a void energy again after a couple more days of darkness, and I'm very tired because it's exhausting to get all the dust beat out of you and be, watching more collapse in your life, and learn how to surrender. And that's really what I wanted to talk a bit about today, is surrendering to this journey, surrendering to this process, because in this process, your 3D world will completely collapse around you. It just completely collapses. Divorce, death, job loss, pet loss, home loss, financial stability loss, health issues, it's crazy. Coping strategies go bye-bye. Your body won't be able to tolerate certain foods anymore. Your body won't be able to tolerate certain behaviors. If you don't know, I've had to quit alcohol, cigarettes, weed, pharmaceuticals, caffeine, gluten, dairy, sugar, and people most of all for me, because codependency was a root wound, a core wound. Abandonment was a core wound. So dealing with all of those things means you're going to get abandoned, and you're going to, feel the hurt of what it is to lose trauma bonds, and sit with yourself so you can become self-sufficient and self-reliant. There's a purpose for being cocooned in your cave. And that's because that's where the transformation happens. And you resist it. You want to hold on to all the old things, the distractions, the tools, the stuff. I used to love smoking. And then on top of that, your mind turns to Swiss cheese and begins to just melt away, and you have to surrender all your beliefs, all your hopes, all your dreams, all your goals. And so, I want to talk a little bit about this whole concept of manifestation, because it just doesn't sit well with me anymore. And listen, I used to be in the spiritual camp, and I really think that, on this awakening journey, it's like climbing a staircase, right? And so you have basic ego needs, and then you move up to other egoic needs. And then there is a shelf somewhere on this awakening, probably kind of third eye level third eye level, though, of spiritual ego that exists in there as well, that needs to be cleared out. And spiritual ego is all about, high vibes only, and bypassing to bliss, and manifestation, this whole concept that I'm just going to set my intentions and manifest the life that I so desire. I want, sorry for my funny voice, but I used to do it myself. I 100% put my hands up that I used to do it myself. But what I have learned over and over and over and over again is you need to surrender everything. Everything. So this concept of manifestation is holding on to attachments. It's holding on to thinking. It's holding on to the idea that you somehow control your destiny. You don't. You have zero control. Zero. Like God, the creator, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is in charge of this. Once you have a Kundalini, if you are having a Kundalini awakening, if you are on a twin flame journey, you are not in control. There is no, okay, I'm going to manifest this like little perfect whatever, I've had lots of visions, like so many visions, and I'm like, yeah, I'd happily want to manifest that, and if it's not in God's time, or if it's not in alignment with your highest and greatest good, it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how many full moon crystals and full moon water and meditations and affirmations and this, that, and the other. And listen, affirmations work. 100% they work. They've completely changed my brain in the sense of I no longer beat the shit out of myself. I no longer think limiting thoughts. I have reprogrammed. But in the reprogramming, there's the understanding that you still need to surrender to higher source. There is something higher and greater than us that's like at play here. And, if it's not in the time or the way that higher soul spirit wants you to live your life, then you need to surrender. You seriously, like, that's one thing I keep learning. So I'd love to get your opinions on that, because I know the spiritual community is very stuck in this notion that spiritually we've ascended because we understand more things than other people who aren't awake. There's a real spiritual ego that is at play. Maybe you're caught in it right now. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're wrestling with it. But, I used to think, because I was a Reiki master, I started I suppose in some ways you could define my awakening as beginning when I was like 18, 19. Or maybe it was when I was 3 and fell through a roof and had a near-death experience. Or maybe I've always been somewhat awake. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, timelines and things. But, I started seeking answers from the time I was 18. I looked into Buddhism. I looked into the Native community, because my addictions course that I took was a Native-based course. And so I studied the teachings of the elders and really resonated with a lot of that and carried that through me. I looked into Wicca and trying to understand things. I was very curious about all kinds of different faiths. And then I found Reiki, and it was like my whole life just started to make sense to me, because I started seeing things from an energetic perspective and how everything was like interlaid upon and interconnected. And yes, I am a Reiki master. I'm so awake and I know things. But even in the knowing of things, I wasn't living in alignment with my soul. So there's a lot of people in the spiritual communities that are still quite judgmental, because they're looking down upon others as being less than, because they're less awake, less aware. This is all knowing. This is this third eye place. It's not being. It's not living it. It's not living. The word surrender is something that people throw around, but I don't think they're actually living. There's a disconnect. There's a almost, what's that term? The word's flown out of my mind. That's all right. It is what it is. Losing words now again. It's incongruent is my message. It is living surrender and living in spiritual ego are two different things. And in spiritual ego, you're going to still think that you have the capacity to manifest this dream that you want. But is it what you want? Is it really what you want? Or is it what your spiritual ego wants? Because as we go through this Kundalini awakening, from what I can see, the only thing that I can say to spirit that makes any sense at this point is just please make me useful. Just please make me. I don't know what my future holds. If I'm to be a monk for the rest of my life, I prefer not. But if that's what spirit wants, okay, so be it. If what spirit wants is for me to just lie here in a ball for a day and self-soothe, okay, that's what I'm going to do. If spirit wants me up in the moment and cleaning or painting a room, then I'm going to be motivated to do that. I have been so beaten down through this process that I am now living moment to moment to moment. It's no longer what's going to come next week or what's going to come next year. I have no idea. I give it up. There's no point, 0 point in me trying to plan anything. 0 things can I plan. 0 things, 0 point in dreaming about anything. About like, oh, it would be so nice if I could this or that, like this whole twin thing is like, oh, for the longest time, I was like, oh, union would be so lovely. It would be so great. Yeah, give that up too. I'm just giving it all up. There's just 0 things. I'm seriously, where I'm at today is there are like just 0 things. I really hope that God decides to make me useful, that there was some sort of a point to this awakening, that I'm led to some higher and greater purpose, and that will present itself for me. But surrender is waving the white flag. Surrender is just utter exhaustion. It's just accepting that it is what it is, whatever it is in that moment. So sorry, I'm not all cheerful and like, yay, but I'm trying. I think the point is I would rather be real with you. I'd rather people see what's really happening, because awakenings are not pretty. They're not this like Zen Buddhist happily sitting underneath a Bodhi tree and or living in Bali, and well, some people do live in Bali, but even they're struggling, so it doesn't matter where you are. If you feel like, oh, I should be in a monastery or something, or I should, there's been times where I've thought to myself, I probably should be in a Buddhist monastery. But for me, for my awakening, and maybe for your awakening, you are where you are. You're being sequestered where you are for your highest and greatest good, for your safety. So for my safety, I'm in this bedroom. For my safety, Spirit is guiding my legal battle in regards to my house in whatever way it wants. Like 3 months ago, I was like, yeah, I'll sell. That's what I'll do. And now I'm like, I can't again, still. So like it's everything that looks like a clusterfuck is actually in attempts to help you surrender. Surrender some more. If you need help surrendering and you would like to book a one-on-one Zoom with me, well, the way to do that is in the description below. If you have a video that you would have a question that you want me to make, no problem. I would love to be able to get deep dive into some of the teachings so that I could share those with you. But I'm being directed one video at a time without any foresight. I had thought that I wanted to bring the contents of my book in regards to chakra teachings to you I do have a chakra playlist. I imagine I will at some point be doing more of those videos or not. I don't know. I really have no idea what tomorrow brings, or any other day for that matter, because I'm still in this awakening. Maybe I'll be in this awakening for the rest of my life. I don't know. Maybe I'll be in this room for the rest of my life. I don't know. Oh, yes. Awakenings are messy. Awakenings are at times lazy. Awakenings at times are insanity. Awakenings at time are confusion. Awakenings at time sometimes are painful, physically and emotionally. Very painful. I have a body and an emotion playlist to help you if you're having symptoms on either the body or the emotions. Mentally, it's absolutely like crazy as you go through the destruction of your ego. The person I once was, I have no recognition of them. I don't have any recognition of them at all anymore. I still have memory, and I have empathy for all those women that came before me. You know, all those aspects of self, the warrior that had to fight that hard battle to escape from a really shitty situation with a really shitty person who did really horrid things to me. And, you know, the memories of all the inner children and the wounds, and one after another, you surrender those too. You relive them, and in the reliving, you surrender them and you purify. So surrendering is about surrendering everything. 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 Surrender it all. That's what I am at. So that's today's video. Sorry, it's a little wackadoodle, but awakenings are wackadoodle. And I'm sending you all of my absolute love. Peace out.